Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is well. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Boost. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy we're sitting in the middle of the summer. We've been talking about this concept of infinite consciousness, understanding who you are, understanding your power. It's so critical, so important that when you think through what we can accomplish, you understand where it's coming from. So much of what we've been talking about over the past few weeks has been this really is based on this premise that the more you dig in, the more you'll find. When you have a very physical way of seeing the world, when the glasses that we use, the lens that we see through is physical, we're constantly trying to protect the limitedness of who we are. Let me sort of unpack this a little bit today. I may have done this a little bit, but I think it's important to discuss this. Whenever you deal with challenge, whenever we deal with challenge, whenever there's something that comes our way, whenever we're too exhausted, whenever you ever get this where you're just exhausted and it's the next thing and you want to cancel it if you can, or you want to give up. You could be in the middle of work and it's just too hard or too tiring, or you've done it, and as a result, like, you're ready to give in not great material. You don't really deliver for your customer. You have to go somewhere and you just don't want to go. Whatever it is. Whenever you're in that state of I can't, when you're in the state of I don't want to hear someone else's opinion that I disagree with because it's bothersome to me. Whenever you're in that moment in which comfort and greatness clash, where you should go, you should do the right thing, you should work a little harder, you should be more patient, whatever it is. And really in your life, you should hear new things, you should learn new things. As you find yourself in that moment of, but I can't, but I'm tired, but it's not me, what's really happening is there's this identification taking place. You ever see, if you pay attention to your mind, you may hear this. That's not me anyways. I don't do that stuff. I'm never gonna be. I'll be like this. I maybe I shouldn't be like that. Maybe I should just not worry about, the thing that I would become, and just that's not who I am. That's not who I was, but not anymore. As you start to get to a place in which comfort and greatness start to clash, the end of the ego depletion, what is going on in your mind is really a battle for identity. Because at the end of the day, who you identify with is core to how you're going to make decisions. So you're not going to make a decision to do something that cuts against your essence, even if it's hard. I'll give you an example. One of the great phenomenons, I believe, at least like I say, in I Keep Kosher. And one of the great phenomenons, I believe, about life you can see in young kids who keep kosher. It's an amazing thing if you look at it. Just from whether you do or you don't matter. Just look at it. Here you have a kid. Okay, this happens all the time. The family keeps kosher, right? And in that family is a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old. Let's make them 8. And like every other 8-year-old, they're online at some grocery store of some sort, or they're in some 7-Eleven or type store, and they want whatever is sugar. Whatever congealed sugar is the latest congealed sugar. They want it. And you will If you're paying attention, this will happen 1,000 times a year. They'll turn to their parent and go, "Can I please have it? Please, I need it. I want it. I can't live without it. You promised me. Remember it? I got a good grade 20 years ago. Do you remember? I was good last week. I'll never bother anybody again." They're negotiating for that congealed sugar. And mom or dad may not want them to get it, but they're not giving up. They're kids. Kids don't give up. If kids would end at a no, they'd get nothing, right? We should learn from kids to not end at the first no. And then all of a sudden, mom and dad or dad look at the package and there's no symbol on it, and they say, "I'm sorry, honey, it's not kosher." You will find 9.5 out of 10 times the kid drops it. Just drops it. What happened? A minute ago, he was throwing a temper tantrum. A minute ago, there was no no. A minute ago, there was no negotiating. He was going to hold to the end. And now all of a sudden, one word, one expression, it's not kosher. Everything changes. How come? Because that's his identity. Because in the identity of that kid, it has been expressed so many times that eating kosher is what we do. It's who we are. And it's non-negotiable. And even though he's 8 or 6 and he has no muscles to hold him back. There's no self-discipline anywhere in that little kid's head for anything sugar related. Once you go one level deep to who we are, all of a sudden strength is found. All of a sudden that kid who was already, losing it, picks himself up and realizes that they're not giving in. And he moves on to the next candy. It's unbelievable. Because whenever greatness and comfort clash, whenever you're being pushed all the way, what happens, the clash takes place at the crossroads of identity. It's now who you are. And who you are and the things that you hold the most dear, that's what navigates your behavior. Because if it's any little of extra, if it's the goal you want, but you haven't inculcated it yet, you're going to give it up. Right? And this happens all the time in our lives. You start running. In the beginning you hate it or you can't do it, and then you keep going and you run and you feel amazing, and then 5 years later you identify as a runner, and it's late or it's early and you're traveling and you got to get your run in. You don't even think about it. You're out there running. Why? Because it's who I am. What I do is extra. It may be important, but it's extra to my life. Who I am is necessary. I can't give that up. It's who I am. It's nestled inside me. I can't stop. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to wake up one morning and stop being a parent, or stop being a Jew, or stop. And you see this sometimes. People get pushed to the end. You see in our history, people that are not connected at all, especially in times of real tragedy and real anti-Semitism, times like the Holocaust, get pushed to the end. At the end of the day, I'm a Jew. At the end of the day, who you are is what navigates decisions when you just have no more strength inside you. And that identification is what gives you the strength to push forward. Okay, we'll talk about this. All right, everybody. Have a great day. God's help. Can't see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.
Living on a lifeline. The world doesn't ever seem to change. Looking for the sunshine. but you're caught up in the rain. It's like your eyes are wide open, but you cannot see. You're watching life pass you by like 1, 2, 3, walking in destruction. The winds of life blur your vision, all the devastation. Forever feels like you're on the run. It's time, no one else can set you free. You're locked inside, and only you have got the key.